Well, Butch Stearns joins me now, and call me an overreactor, but I have a problem with Game 1 because here are the three things that I think have to happen in any Stanley Cup playoff series. You can't get pushed around. I don't think they were. You got to get bodies in front of the net no matter what. I think both teams did, and your goaltender can't let you down. And I think at the end of the day, when you're 2-2 on the road in overtime, you can't let in a goal like that and blow an opportunity. You may lose Game 2, 5-1, and then where are you? Oh, we should have won Game 1.
So let's start with the pushed around. Alex Ovechkin came out and just steamrolled David Krejci right away. The Bruins did respond. I agree with you. They didn't get pushed around for the game. Charlie McAvoy was destroying people in the second period. So there's that. They didn't get enough people in front of that, especially when the number one goalie goes down and a 40-year-old, Craig Anderson, comes in. And you're right, you want to put bodies in front of the net. Taylor Hall was flying. I was surprised when I looked at the numbers that he didn't have more shots and more stuff like that. Now let's get to Tuukka.
Before we do, what I think is interesting about people in front of the net, it was proven last night. This is as talented as the athletes are on the ice, and we will see some breakaway goals. It's the goals in front of the net in traffic that are going to make a difference in a series like this. Tuukka,
right.
Go ahead.
Well, so obviously fans want Tuukka's head. They're calling for Swayman already because there were two chintzy goals. You could argue that, they weren't Tuukka's fault. But we've been doing this for so long with Tuukka, he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. And then his reaction after the game, oh my goodness, a couple of sticks. They hit a couple of sticks on the way in. I mean, it's just not a good look, Tom.
I mean, off the chest, between the legs, and his own pads puts it in the goal. That's what happened on the game-winning goal.
Yeah.
I just can't help myself from looking ahead and seeing a big Capitals win in Game 2 and just feeling that you blew one because you had the opportunity on the road to at least split the series. Because that's all you really want to do. Split a series and come home 1-1 and see what you can do on your home ice.
All right, Bruce Cassidy, let me put you on the spot. They lose Monday night 5-1, and Tuukka gives up a couple cheapies. Who's starting in Game 3 in Boston?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me if he has a problem in Game 2, because I have a quick hook. I think if Tuukka struggles at all, even in Game 2 early, I make the move. It's do or die. We've talked about the path they have to take. You don't want to be behind 2-0 against any team. And if you feel as though Tuukka's given up a few goals early in Game 2, you put Swayman in. Without hesitation, if they lose handily to Washington on the road, I'm going with Jeremy.
My final point is the first line. I mean, you got to get points from your first line always. But when they've gone to the Cup, they've gotten secondary scoring. So when Jake DeBrusk, who had 5 goals in the regular season, gets the first goal in the playoffs, I'm like, wow, that's a good sign.
It just reminded me last night that this is going to be difficult. Not just this series against the Capitals, but the entire road to a possible run to the final. It's maybe their toughest trail they've had.
Well, a Stanley Cup championship is never easy, right? 16 wins. We all know it. It's just, and all of them are grind. It's a grind.
It's going to be tough. All right, let's turn the page. Should we talk a little bit about the Red Sox?
I mean, you ready to blame Matt Barnes? Because I'm not.
Matt Barnes has been fantastic. And
9 for 9 before this.
When you get beaten by the shift, really, is what happened today, because Mike Trout's pop-up to right field should have been caught had people been positioned in regular position. So that's a bloop. It's kind of a freak of nature. And then Ohtani gets you. I mean, two of the best players in baseball get you. And Barnes tipped his cap and said Ohtani's one of the greatest players he's ever seen, which says something, right?
Well, Friday night, I mean, they did a great job against Ohtani, Red Sox pitchers in this series. Friday night, Tom, he flicked his wrist on an outside pitch and hit it into the Green Monster. The announcers were dumbfounded. They had to look at the replays and go, can we see that again? I mean, but this guy he's being compared to Babe Ruth, for rightfully so. He's the only guy to have 10 home runs and over 30 strikeouts at this point in the season since Babe Ruth.
Yeah,
I mean, it's too bad he didn't pitch in this series for Red Sox fans.
Would have been nice to see him do that. What I want to get to next is the very tightly packed American League East. Is that how it's going to be, or is this just a fluke of nature on May 16th that there are 4 teams right there? Because you look at the standings now, you're like, wow, are they going to be battling each other this tightly all the way through September to the end of the season? Or is one or maybe even 2 of these teams going to drop back?
Yeah, I mean, we're here 2 weeks from Memorial Day, and the Red Sox don't have the best record in baseball anymore. That goes to the Chicago White Sox percentage-wise. They're tied with the A's for the second. And, oh, by the way, the San Francisco Giants have a better record than them. Anyway, we didn't even expect them to be here. Didn't we expect them to be chasing the Rays and the Yankees? Well, now the Jays, the Yankees, and the Rays are right on their heels. The Jays are only a game and a half behind.
All right, so we turn the page now to the Celtics Tuesday night, home, 9 o'clock. Wizards, not a great matchup. I mean, are they going to have to play 2 of these games? Are they going to have to play that 9-10 winner to try to get that 8 seed?
Well, you had to educate me when I came in, and I think most Celtics fans, if they haven't really looked to figure out what's going on, they play Tuesday night, right? If they win, they're the 7th seed, and they go right on to a series with the Brooklyn Nets. Bring it on. If they lose, they play again either Wednesday, Thursday, right?
They play Thursday, the 9-10 winner, and whoever wins, that's the 8th seed.
They become the 8th seed, and they'd get Philadelphia if that's the case. I don't think they're getting out of this playing either way. I'm with you now. Last week, you're like, I'm out on the Celtics. I mean, I just don't see how they're going to win.
I mean, to just stumble to the finish line 1-5 is just so disheartening. You just feel like even the players' heads not in it. But we'll see. We'll see how they respond at home. Both those games will be at home. So they got 2 chances at home. Try to get into the playoffs. That's what it's come down to.
Right.
Do or die. Ahead in the next segment, very emotional last night. Barbara Stevens goes in the Hall of Fame. A fantastic speech from Vanessa Bryant. Your take before we talk about it.
Kevin Garnett, Barbara Stevens, and then Vanessa Bryant. I thought Vanessa Bryant did an unbelievable job because she didn't make it a eulogy. She already gave his eulogy, right? She made it a tribute speech, but she made it very emotional and didn't break down till the very, very end, and even then held it together. I was amazed by her.